Hey, good people, Tiffany Javon here back with another video. And today, guys, it is official. I know I came on a few days ago and let you guys know that that the SEC dropped their appeal on the SEC versus Ripple case. And now today, the settlement has come in. There was a $125 million bar tab, basically a settlement clause that was out there that originally that's what the SEC wanted. But now that we have the new SEC administration, getting geared up. It's a different administration since last year's, and since they dropped the appeal, Ripple has dropped its cross appeal, and officially today the SEC has agreed to only accept 50 million of that 125 million, and 75 million, or the balance, is going to be returned to Ripple. I want to read officially what the head attorney Stuart Alderati had to say. I think it might be Stuart Alderati. Anyway, had to say, and this actually came in fresh off the press, guys, like less than a couple of hours ago. It says the final crossing of T's and dotting of I's, and what should be my last update on the SEC versus Ripple ever. Okay, last week the SEC agreed to drop its appeal without conditions. Ripple has now agreed to drop its cross appeal. The SEC will keep 50 million of the $125 million fine already in an interest-bearing escrow in cash. So they actually already had the 50 million. And it says, with the balance being returned to Ripple, the agency will also ask the court to lift the standard injunction that was imposed earlier at the SEC's request, all subject to commission vote, drafting of final documents, and usual court processes, which is, kind of like the regular normal things that they have to do to finalize everything. But he closes out with, that's all, folks. Like, literally, it has been 4 years. Oh my God. I'm super excited. I'm so excited. Like, I knew this day was coming. Like, I've been talking about XRP and Ripple and crypto since I, came into knowledge of it. Like, I can't even, grasp my words. I'm super excited because this really allows not just XRP or certain cryptos, but it allows the cryptocurrency industry altogether to not be stifled anymore, not be held back anymore, not be I can't say not be manipulated in a way, because I think still the elites and the government and stuff like that, I still think that they're gonna try to make it more advantageous for them to kind of lock in some of these lower prices or whatever before we really take off. But I feel like with this case, I felt like it was already unfair. It was unfair since the case was brought against Ripple when Gary Gensler was the head of the SEC, and this was December of 2020 is when the case was brought forth. It's when they first came after Ripple, and over these years, XRP and it has just been fighting and clawing, to just stay in the game, basically, right? Not knowing the rules of the road, not knowing the rules of engagement, trying to be proactive. Ripple's trying to work with the SEC, and the SEC was like, oh yeah, come talk to us, we'll give you the rules and we'll let you know. And they weren't letting them know crap. They just was basically just setting them up for failure. Just said, oh yeah, what are you doing again, and how you trying to do it, and what, basically trying to build an inside case against them. Like, they allowed them to come in and pretty much say, hey, we're trying to do this, we're thinking of doing this, but we don't want to do anything really. We don't feel too comfortable making too many moves unless we know the rules of the road, we know the rules of the game. And oh yeah, just come talk to us, we'll get you all straight, and we'll whatever. And it just was a bunch of baloney. It was a bunch of crap, and so that's behind us now. Like, today's actually my brother's birthday. Happy birthday. But I'm gonna remember this day forever. Like, oh my God, from 2020 to 2025, like literally 4 years and a few months, like, we've been dealing with this case. And it's hurt, and I say we because I'm talking about the people that hold XRP, or the people that were the XRP investors, the holders, the community. We've been in grief, basically. You know what I mean? At this unfair advantage that the SEC was allowing other cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these other ones was getting, they didn't have anything going against them negatively in a negative light, or whatever. But ours, all of a sudden, and I feel like with ours, I feel like they don't go after the ones that they know don't have the most to gain. And I feel like it was a strategic move. I feel like it was trying to allow, other cryptos to kind of get a leg up, so to speak, or get a head start. But that's all over with. It's all over with. It's game over right now. Like, we're officially done. Like, we don't have to, like, continuously be waiting on an update on the case. And, oh, it was the longest thing ever. Like, the XRP army, like the XRP community, like I feel like we're warriors. Like, no lie. Like, if you've been holding XRP and you didn't sell all of your bags and just completely, exit out of your position or whatever the case may be. Now I understand, life happens. Sometimes you have to sell a little bit, buy back in, do what you have to do. But I'm talking about like overall, like your long-term bag, your long-term position, you didn't sell, you didn't get shaken out. You just like, I don't care what they saying. I don't care what they doing against Ripple. Like, I know XRP is the infrastructure. I know for digital payments and digital assets. I know the XRP ledger is going to be used in a wide capacity, and I know that XRP is the bridge currency that's going to be bridging all currencies together. And I am elated because it's just nowhere to go but up from here. Like, we've been down. We've been down. We've been so down. Like, we've been down in the dumps. And so, whew, I'm excited. And I really feel like we can now be able to see what the price should have been had we not, been on the receiving end of this case. I feel like the price, we should probably at least be at $20. Like, I feel like we should be at like $15, $20 easy. Like, with all the different partnerships. And then that's nothing. It never did, even with this case being against Ripple, it never did stop them from building and connecting with other institutions and banks and getting into agreements and partnerships and stuff like that. But all that stuff had to be through NDAs and on the hush, because, if somebody would have lifted their head up and said, oh, I want to work with Ripple, and Ripple was still being sued by the SEC, then they would have probably got, they would probably came after them. And so people, they were making deals, on the hush or whatever the case may be, until they got this case kind of behind them. And now we're going to hear, now all we've heard is like numbers, right? We've heard over 300 institutional partnerships. We've heard over, hundreds of banks or whatever that has partnered with them. Now the NDAs are going to be lifted because this case, Ripple is no longer being litigated. So this case is completely over. So now there's no telling what names we're going to hear now that says like they've been in a partnership with Ripple since 2021 or 2022 or 2019 or whatever the case may be. Like, I feel like as the XRP army, I feel like we can breathe again as a crypto investor. This is not just something good for XRP, but it's also good for just crypto in general, because there were a lot of projects or whatever that the SEC were, the SEC wasn't just going after Ripple. They were going after several projects. They also was going after exchanges, and then they were going after just people, some celebrities that they went after or whatever, because those were easy targets. And those celebrities, they just paid they fine and they got out the way. They're like, all right, okay, yes, I invested in this. Okay, yes, I was a brand ambassador for this. Yes, I'm gonna pay you your $1.1 million and be out the way, because I don't want I don't want them people in my life. But so those were easy targets, and I really just feel like all together it was just like a big money grab. I feel like they just wanted some money, and they were not doing what they were supposed to be doing, which was supposed to be protecting the investor. They're supposed to be protecting the retail investor, like you and I. They were supposed to be protecting us, and they weren't. They were trying to protect their pocketbooks. They're trying to line their pocketbooks with more and more and more and more money, as if they don't already have enough money. I just, for the life of me, I don't understand how these people get in these governmental positions. And first of all, their salaries already be $400,000, $500,000, $700,000. Now wait a minute. What are you doing that you got to get paid $4 and $5 and $6, $700,000 or 2, 3, 4, 500? Like, what are you doing that y'all meet maybe a couple of times a month, and then when it's something really crazy, then y'all try to have a lockdown meeting, and then it ain't like y'all meeting every day back to back. Y'all have a meeting, a couple of meetings, and then y'all go on a blank out period where we can't meet. I'm like, who made up these rules? I feel like all of that needs to be changed up. I feel like everybody ought to have a spot to be. I don't know. I feel like people don't need to just have this like unlimited what is the word? Like kind of like their terms, like it's just kind of like extended. Like some of these agencies and stuff like that, some of these positions, their terms are too long. Or they could just keep getting a renewed term if they keep getting voted in. I feel like after so many years, like give somebody else the time to get in there. Like anyway. I'm so glad that Gary Gensler is gone. We're about to get a new SEC head to be sworn in. I believe that's happening in April. I think it's April 2nd, actually. It's probably next week. Yeah, I now nowhere to go but up from here. So I'm just taking it all in, and I just want to know, like, what's gonna really happen? Like, how is the price really gonna really take off? Like, I don't know, like the sky is really like the floor when it comes to this asset. Like, I don't know, y'all. Like, I feel like with XRP and how it's been like manipulated and how it's been suppressed all these years, and now I feel like it's like, have y'all ever like boiled like some water and had like the lid on it? And it got to like where the water, like you already put, like you kind of put too much water in there, so as it started boiling, the lid started kind of doing like this a little bit, and then after so long, after they got to a boiling point, it just kind of started whistling because it was too hot. It was it was like basically letting you know, like, hey, this lid finna pop on off of here because it's too much water, too much pressure, and I feel like that's what's happening right now, and I feel like we just got our lid popped off, by with all the pressures being relieved or whatever, with the case being settled. It's settled. We honestly, when this happened, I thought that the case was gonna be over. Really, I thought the case was gonna be over in like a year. I didn't think it was gonna take years. With an S, like, and I ain't talking about 2 years either. I'm like, how long is this gonna go on? But you know what? The reward is to the patient, the people that held on, now they're even talking about a class action lawsuit against the SEC for about $500 billion because, they hurt us. They hurt us financially. Like I said, I felt like the coin without the case would have been somewhere around $15-$20. If I'm a little bit over, okay, no more than $10-$15. Like, no less than $10-$15. And with that, you know how much money people would have made? You know how much money people lost because people got scared, because once the case came out and all that kind of stuff, people got scared and sold out of their position prematurely, or they sold out of their position prior to when they would have liked to sell out of their position, or when prior to when they probably had it set for them to sell out of their position. They're probably going to wait a few years, but got scared because they're like, oh crap, the government coming down, the SEC coming down on this must not be right, it must be a scam. And this just goes to show, just because the government comes against you doesn't mean that you're a scam. Doesn't mean that you're a fraud. Doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It could just be them. It could just be a complete money grab. And it can be also a ploy. You never know. It may be a setup, for them to allow other people to go before you, to allow other, projects to go before you, or to give an unfair advantage to someone else. And that's really just what it was. That's really what it was. And so I like my projections for price. I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be something crazy. Like, I feel like with the pressure, with the lid popped, I just feel like it's I don't know. The sky, I don't know, it's really the floor when it comes to the price. I think it could go somewhere like, now, of course, the conservative has always been, it's going to go $20, $30, $40. But I think now with this case settled and everything behind us, we ain't got to talk about Ripple SEC v Ripple no more, ever. Other than it being in the rearview mirror in the past. I think it's gonna just, whew, I don't know. I think at least $100. Like and that's just, I don't know. I just feel like all these partnerships, then all the ETFs about to get released, like, and it's about 17, 18 of those applications just sitting pending, waiting, sitting on the SEC's desk to be approved. And so if the SEC is dropping cases and reducing fines and all of those kind of stuff, you think they not finna release the Kraken when it comes to all these ETFs? They finna release these ETFs. They finna approve those things. And that's just finna just make even more. And now with no more litigation, because there are literally retail investors and institutional investors and accredited investors, all these investors, a lot of investors have been waiting on the sideline for the case to be completely over. They were like, if it's still in the case, if it's still in litigation, I don't want to touch it at all. Period. They didn't want to touch it at all. And now that it's completely over, you know how many investors are about to flock to XRP? That's why I say I think $100 is like, I really think it's a shoe in. And I tell people all the time, like, I'm not a financial advisor or your financial advisor or whatever, but this is a strong suggestion that you should get you some XRP, even if it's just a little bit. Hold it, and you just never know. Just see what Bitcoin did in a matter of less than 10 years, 5 to 10 years. Went from $100 to now it's $100,000 a coin. In less than 10 years, $100,000 a coin. So if you'd have just bought 100 coins at 100,000 times 100, oh my, that's a lot of money. Let's do the math real quick, cause see, I think that's about 10 million. Hold on. If you just had 100 coins and it Bitcoin went, I'm right, $10 million. So just imagine if you just get you 100 XRP or 1,000 XRP and just hold it, 500 XRP, just hold it. Because I feel like at some point XRP gonna be up there with Bitcoin's prices, because all the partnerships, because of the infrastructure, it's pretty much like the highway of payments. And XRP is the cause. So y'all heard it here. Okay, y'all might not have heard it here first, but you definitely heard it here. Okay, and so listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed this update. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until my next video, guys, stay blessed. Bye.